This is a review of the bonus picture quiz from February 28th, 2018 in Natural Disasters class. The first picture here illustrates how a wind blowing over a slanted surface creates a lift due to something called the Bernoulli Principle, but that's a little more physics than I want to discuss. But the fact is that very similarly to an airplane wing, a wind blowing over a slanted surface or a surface that is not in the same shape from top to bottom will create a lifting effect. And in fact, that lift is often enough with hurricane force winds to create enough force to actually dislodge the roof and lift it up off the building, at which point the wind will very easily blow the roof away and cause the entire structure to fail. So the important thing that's illustrated in this picture with the wind pressure or wind direction and the lifting caused by it is the fact that slanted roofs are actually problematic in hurricane-prone areas, and houses with flatter roofs or with the slant facing in the other direction can survive better, or especially houses in which the roof is much more carefully attached to the building. This picture shows a red flag warning, which is a warning about wildfires. And traditionally or typically in wildfire hazard areas, when the risk is high, they hang a literal red flag out at various places for people to see, as various flags at beaches and ski resorts indicate hazardous conditions. The National Weather Service has adopted the term red flag warning as a weather advisory, and in this case there was a red flag warning across all of central western New York State, which might be a bit unexpected, but a red flag warning means a danger of wildfire, and on May 4th of this year there was a wildfire danger. And it's not actually uncommon. It happens, the dry vegetation from the previous year is flammable. And once May or June comes along and the vegetation greens up, it's much less flammable. But it's a red flag warning of a wildfire in western New York. The third picture shows a radar image, and this is known as a hook echo. It has the radar echo or reflection shows a hook at the what's called the rear flank of a supercell storm. These colors indicate extreme amounts of precipitation and highly variable winds inside of this whole storm. The most likely consequence of seeing something like this on a radar image is that there's a very significant likelihood that a tornado will form somewhere in this vicinity. The heaviest precipitation and wind shear is around here, and the tornado might form right about here. So this is a hook echo radar image indicating a tornado is occurring or is very likely to form. This is a picture, a snapshot from the first video that you watched on YouTube, showing the social and economic issues around the 1927 Mississippi River flood. That is a levee that these people are trapped on. They were not there by choice, and I think it's very important and heartbreaking part of American history to recognize that these people were forced to stay in these locations at gunpoint. And although there was resources available to evacuate them to other communities, other areas, the leaders of the community, all the rich white people and farm owners, decided that it was too much of a risk that once these poor sharecroppers, who were literally in a condition of indentured servitude, saw the opportunity to leave the community, they might find it much more appealing to live in the northern United States, for instance, working in a factory, instead of working as really a vestige which was very similar to slavery, which ostensibly had ended decades earlier. So these people were trapped here, and the conditions were very poor. First cold weather, warm weather, very hot weather, rainstorms. So this is a fairly tragic incident in American history, and the strategy of the town leaders, the city leaders, eventually failed significantly, as many of these people did eventually leave the deep south and head for northern cities in what's called the Great Migration of the 1920s, 1930s, and into the 40s. So this is a very meaningful part of American history, having to do with racism, diversity, economic oppression, all tied together with flooding and natural disasters.